If you've been trying to get a two-room Flexi BTO, I'm sure that you're aware that it's very difficult in general to get, and many people even have to apply multiple times. And that's why in this video, I'm going to discuss what are the two-room Flexi offerings in this June BTO launch, as well as how to increase your chances in securing a two-room Flexi. So the good news is the government is actually in progress to increase the two-room Flexi supply. According to their press release, almost a third of the June BTO flats are two-room Flexi. And indeed, I can confirm that it's true. Furthermore, 6 out of 7 BTO projects in this launch offers two-room Flexi options. And the government also said that between 2026 until 2028, there will be about 20,000 two-room Flexi flats to be launched. So indeed, to be fair, the government is trying to increase the amount of supply. And if we zoom in at the number of two-room Flexi units available at each project, it's also quite a staggering number. So for example, in Berlayar Rise, they are offering 816 two-room Flexi flats. In Lakeview, Cascadia, they are allocating 476 two-room Flexi. And Kebun Baru Breeze, for example, they are offering 377 two-room Flexi flats, etc. So as you can see, the supply is objectively higher versus several years ago. But having said that, please take note of the construction time because these projects can be very different in terms of construction time. Some will be completed in about 3 years or even less, but then some of them will go beyond 4 years. So it depends on your life stage and your needs as well, but please consider the construction time as well. Now, in order to increase your chances, let's talk about HDB rule. So in BTO exercises, HDB will allocate at least 40% of the two-room Flexi for seniors or a minimum of 100 units. And then the remaining quota is not solely given to singles because if you remember, first-timer families and second-timer families are also eligible to buy two-room Flexi flats. But in general, about 65% of those balance are allocated for singles. And if there are any unused quota from certain categories, or for example, like there's not many second-timer families taking up the two-room Flexi, then the allocation will be given to other groups. But then at the same time, if you notice the wording, there's no maximum cap for seniors. So minimum is 100 units or 40%, like whichever is higher. But then there is no maximum cap for seniors in terms of the number of two-room Flexi flats that will be allocated for them. So to make my explanation clearer, let's talk with real numbers. So I'm currently listing down all of the two-room Flexi units available for each project in this June BTO launch. Let's just take Berlayar Rise as an example. So in total, there are 816 units of two-room Flexi flats. So 40% of it is 326. So those will go to seniors, and then 65% of the balance goes to singles. But then if you take a look at Woodgrove Acres, they only have 157 of two-room Flexi flats. 40% of that is only 63. But then 63 is less than 100. So what happened is that they will allocate 100 units of two-room Flexi flats in Woodgrove Acres for seniors. And then the rest will be split among singles, first-timer families, and also second-timer families. I hope this is clearer. And then if you see the next chart, I'm basically showing you what are the allocation for seniors versus singles in this BTO launch, just so that you will be able to see what's the comparison. Because if you look at the statistics, to me it's very clear that I would not advise singles to apply to Woodlands Town. This is nothing personal against Woodlands, but I'm just looking at the numbers. For singles, there are only about 37 units of two-room Flexi flats allocated. If you apply to Woodlands, you would have a smaller chance in securing a unit versus, for example, if you apply for Bukit Merah. Bukit Merah for singles, they are providing 318 units. So obviously, if we just look at the math, you would have a better chance as singles to apply to other towns. For seniors, their chances in getting Woodlands is slightly bigger because they have 100 units allocated. But having said that, if you just compare the number of two-room Flexi allocated across different towns, then statistically, again, I would say you would have a bigger chance if you apply to Bukit Merah or Sembawang, just simply because of the amount of supply is much bigger there. Now, let's talk about another topic that is quite sensitive for people who are interested in two-room Flexi flats, which is rental flats. So as part of inclusivity, HDB does include rental flats in different BTO projects. And obviously, I'm very supportive of this, making sure that all Singaporeans are housed properly. In Kebun Baru Breeze, the rental flat has its own stacks, but it is sharing block with other BTO units. For Lakeview Cascadia, please take note that HDB is implementing the mixed stack approach in this project, which means that the lower portion is rental flats and then the upper portion is BTO flats. And then for Woodgrove Acres, they do have a dedicated block for rental flats, but then on top of that, there are several stacks where it is sharing block with other BTO units. This is also a similar approach with Sembawang Portico, where they have a shared block. Now for Sembawang Brook, the rental flats are allocated in a dedicated block. Again, personally, I don't have any problems with it. I'm very supportive of inclusivity, but I'm just sharing this information in case it is part of your consideration. Next up, let's talk about pricing. So here are the summarized pricing for 2-room Flexi Type 1. And as you can see there, the cheapest one, interestingly, is actually being offered at Woodgrove Acres because the price starts from $137,000. And then the second cheapest option is at Sembawang Brook with $139,000, which is the starting price. The most expensive 2-room Flexi are being offered in Berlayar Rise because the price starts from $247,000. Now for Type 2, the most affordable option is being offered at Sembawang Portico because the price starts from $157,000. And then the most expensive one is at Berlayar Rise because the starting price for 2-room Flexi Type 2 is $296,000, which is kind of mind-blowing for me personally because 2-room Flexi Type 2, the BTO price is already close to $300,000 already. That is incredible. So these prices are as is from BTO, meaning it is before any grant. But if let's say you want to buy a 2-room Flexi but at a cheaper price, actually there's an option that you can consider, which is shorter lease BTO. So what is shorter lease BTO? It's basically a 2-room Flexi flat scheme that is offering shorter lease period ranging from 15 to 45 years and hence making it more affordable. So for example, for Lakeview Cascadia, let's say for 2-room Flexi Type 2, the price starts from $257,000 up to $361,000, right? But if you get the shorter lease, as you can see here, 15 years shorter lease is only like starting from $86,000 even before grant. So that is very appealing. For 45 years, it's $154,000. And then for Berlayar Rise, 2-room Flexi Type 2 is being offered starting from $296,000 up to $406,000, right? But as you can see here, the prices for short lease is very appealing. For 15 years. You can get it starting from $99,000 up to $136,000, which means that you can actually get top floors in Berlayar Rise 2-room Flexi Type 2 just for $136,000 before grant. But then again, the lease is only 15 years. The catch is, unfortunately, this shorter lease scheme is only for seniors, so 55 years and above. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want me to discuss further about the shorter lease BTO. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye. To support my work, you can give a one-time tip by pressing the thanks button, pick the amount that you want, and click buy and send. Or you can also press the join button for exclusive contents and monthly membership. Your support means a lot to keep us independent. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!